Let's go.
Podcast notification.
What do I do?
Alright.
Get everything out there.
Yes.
Have it.
Okay.
Let's see, set up. Here we go. Set up and go for the pre-show.
Yep. All
Look
good.
everything. All right.
I wanted to try and put something fun on the green screen behind me, but then I remembered that I can't do that. It's Streamlabs through Discord.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
You could have done it through Discord.
I could have done it through just Discord, yeah.
I went through that. It wouldn't, probably wouldn't have been quite as good, but it would have worked.
But it's okay.
You can see me on the screen behind you.
Oh, yeah. You do. I don't care if people see the top of the room, but I'm trying to hide how destroyed the floor is right
All right. Go through that.
That should, yeah. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. No problems whatsoever.
None. We're set and good to go.
All right. Man, it's been a week.
that is 7 days. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like all I've done is clean. And the house still isn't clean yet.
Yeah.
My goal is to have it done before the end of the year, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, you're running out of time. We don't have, it's 14th, about 2 weeks?
Yep.
A little over 2 weeks left till we roll into 2022.
That's right. I'm also trying to beat Endwalker for the end of the year. That's kind of taken over the Goaty prep. It's just Endwalker. Because I can only get in for short periods of time.
Right. Right, if you can play. Just waiting on that or playing.
Yeah. I did get to 81.
That's good.
Level up to 90. I did get to 81 today, doing main story. But I've only reached one of the new zones out of 6. So.
Well, at least you got a lot more content left then.
Yeah. Plenty more stuff to come for everybody. Plenty more stuff to come.
Well. Oh, goodness. You've been watching.
We, I should probably say at the top, this is going to be a little bit different than we normally do the show. Because the Game Awards, that's going to take up basically the entire show. That's why I don't have a problem talking about my week already. Because,
right. Once we start hitting the Game Awards announcements, or we get to the Game Awards themselves, we'll be down. We'll be running through them.
And I think the announcements are going to take the most time, but I think the awards are going to be the more interesting discussion because we're going to get to see what all the nominees were, and then we're going to get to go, why did this one win?
Yeah, what happened there?
Yeah, which I think will be a really fun discussion.
Yeah.
Who knows? We might agree with all of them. They might have gotten every single one of them 100% right.
That's true. I doubt it, but
I doubt it too.
We will see.
But go ahead and say again here at the top. We'll talk about it again later with plugs. But we're covering Strixhaven right now on the Thursday podcast. So please don't forget about that. We forgot to announce that last week on this Tuesday podcast. Thursday night D&D podcast, also hosted by myself and Rundgren. We have a lot of fun there, and we're talking Strixhaven.
Yeah, we got at least 2 more chapters on there, I believe, that we're going to cover on that, and then not going into the adventures.
Yeah,
we'll leave them be so people can discover them themselves.
Yeah, I think it's way more fun to run an adventure out of a book when it's new. Yeah. If you have somebody tell you all the twists before you run it, then it's like that's not quite as fun.
Right.
And especially if you're the player.
Well, if you've read that, you probably shouldn't play.
Right. I'm not going to say you shouldn't watch other people run an adventure as a group, like have all your players run it or watch it if you want to. But my personal recommendation is it's probably way more fun for those players if they go through it the first time blind.
Yeah. Don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Have to figure it out as they go.
That'd be a fun discussion at some point too. How many times do you need to run an adventure before you start letting the players just really have fun with it? Like, hey, we ran this same adventure. Like we ran Fend over 10 times. They know these goblins are coming now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit.
Like, why would you run Fend over 10 times?
Because you don't know how to do anything else.
That's fair. That's fair.
Do that. Either that, they keep dying.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. They've ran it, just never finished it.
Yeah.
Especially with 40 goblins in the first cave with
Fend over so grossly underbalanced.
Yeah.
Like it would take so little to make that dungeon balanced, that first dungeon.
Right?
Nope.
You're gonna die.
Does your party have 9 people in it? Because that's the only way you're making it through this unscathed.
Right.
I didn't notice that I had a bite on my neck until we started recording, and now it's all I can see.
Right. Something got you.
Yeah, so let's just let that be. Everybody can know about it. Why not?
Right.
I'm going to be conscious of it the whole time anyway, so might as well make everybody else.
You should see it. Oh, my hair is going to go a little crazy tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do that, yeah.
My curl looks fabulous. Well, we've been having some fun with the pre-show, but I think we should cycle in. We'll do the intro and then we'll go ahead and touch on weeks, but obviously we have, a lot to cover. So
yeah, we'll get there.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren,
and we've got the Game Awards.
Yay!
I feel like a couple years back I was way more excited for the Game Awards, and now every year it's like less excitement each time.
Well, it's kind of like I want to know. I want to go through it. I want to know, but at the end of the day, I realize that this is going to be a popularity contest.
Right.
This could be. I'm more interested in all the announcements that came that are out for next year, what's coming up, and things in the future. I just like to just see what ended up on what as the for the awards side of the thing.
I'm also at a point in my life where I can't just dedicate like 4+ hours to watching commercials, because that's what the vast majority of it is, Yeah. And it's like, man, it's one thing when the show itself, like, I'm going to be really critical here and I'm trying not to be, but it's one thing when the show itself is like about video games and it's about the culture with video games and it's about the creation of video games. But then when it's, hey, we're going to have this game that we like, give the award to a different game that won the category because it was more popular, just because we want the game that we like to also be able to get its props. It's like, that's not the spirit of this, is it? And we're not going to announce what won Best RPG because nobody actually cares. We're just going to talk about Fortnite some more.
Well, I think that's the thing. You have now more than ever, you have people who are really dedicated to one or two games.
Yeah.
And that's still, they do it enough to where they're still, kind of a hardcore gamer.
Right.
You still have a lot of people out there that if the game comes out, they're going to play it.
Right.
They're going to try everything. But I think because of the amount of stuff's out and the different things you can do on different systems, a lot of people have found their niches in games.
For sure.
And so it's kind of I don't think the Game Awards has the weight behind it that it used to.
For sure. I think part of that too is how commercialized it has become, which again, they got to pay their bills too. I get it.
Right.
But that first Game Awards was a tight 2.5 hour show where it was mostly awards and had like 3 commercial breaks, I think. And last year's, we cut to that Samsung TV commercial like 14 times. And I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah. It's definitely anything popular is going to become commercialized, and you have to deal with the results of that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we get into the show, do you have anything with your week you want to talk about?
Man, nothing's really changed or come up this week that's been new or different. And I spent today kind of going over what the announcements were for at the Game Awards and everything. So
Yeah.
I really don't have much. How about
I'm
your
about
week?
the same. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm about the same. Just a lot of cleaning and FF14.
Yeah, I got the studio, a lot of studio stuff done and
Yeah.
got it set up for the future.
Looks good. I like it a lot, actually.
Now, give me
And I'm
just a
not
second.
just saying that because we're on the camera together. I mean, I legitimately really
Right.
like it.
You like very good. Very good.
All right. Well, let's get into these Game Awards announcements then.
All right.
Because we got some stuff. And we're gonna give these the gravitas, I guess you could say, that they deserve. Because some of these I think are actually like really cool announcements.
Yes.
The first one is one of the coolest ideas that I think I've ever heard that I need to play for myself to know if it's going to be any good.
Right.
But Sonic Frontiers was announced last year.
Yeah.
And Sonic Frontiers, we didn't know anything about it. Now we know it is an open world Sonic game that is Breath of the Wild-esque.
Well, I couldn't decide if it was, Sonic Shadow of the Wild or Breath of the Colossus by the time it was the end of it. So we'll have to see. This is also probably a problem we'll run to as we talk about a lot of this. One, it looked great.
Yeah.
Right? It looked really cool. And that's not the only, and it's not, this one was not a surprise to me at all.
Yeah.
Because we had talked, I think a few months ago, was it after E3 they were kind of pushing Sonic, but they didn't have anything on the other end of it. And now, so this is not a surprise. I was almost expecting this one a little bit.
Yeah.
From the Sonic build up through the year.
I just don't know how it's going to play. How do you play Sonic at high speed? Which I say that, but I played the Pathless, which is a game about firing a bow and hitting a target that gives you a speed increase in an open world. But it definitely could work.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, man. This is kind of a hard title to put any speculation on because it may be horrible.
Yeah.
Very
easily could be.
It's very easily be horrible, and they've done that before.
Yeah.
With open world Sonic.
Sonic
or
06.
It may hit everything it needs to. So.
It could. I could very easily see this reviving 3D Sonic in a way. Because 3D Sonic has still been making games. For anybody who's like, what do you mean reviving? It's not dead. It's not dead. But it's been on life support for many, 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 many years. And we've all just been going, it's fine. So, like, a good open world Sonic game could absolutely revitalize that 3D Sonic.
Yeah, but it's not the only Sonic game either.
That's right.
It's just the new one, I guess I should say.
Absolutely.
Because it's the oh shoot, I lost the thing. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic Frontiers, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 debut.
Yeah. So that is the trailer for the new movie.
Yeah.
And the movie has people very excited because Tails and Knuckles are going to be in it.
Of course. About time, sir.
Yep. Why weren't they in the first one? Come on. But I have seen some really good memes already about that trailer. Of course. But what I like most about that trailer is that Knuckles gets to be Knuckles again. Like in a lot of the recent stuff Knuckles has been in, he's been kind of an idiot, Whereas the Knuckles in this trailer is just like, I'm going to kill you. Get out of my way, But he's going to be voiced by Idris Elba.
That's cool.
And one thing I think you'll really appreciate is that Idris Elba put out a tweet that was just like, hey, tell me everything you know about Knuckles. I want to know about this guy.
That's cool.
So it's like, he wants to learn. People send him links to the comics.
Yeah. Well, one of the things with the games is because it's like with the games, they don't ever want to get as dark as Sonic can be.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, there's a couple of points, but for the most part, the comic books get kind of dark.
Yeah.
And
remember that time that Knuckles' entire family died right in front of him due to an overdose on a drug? A drug that was supposed to fix their chronic medical condition?
Yes, it was ugly.
Yeah, that's comic books, man. I love them, but man,
But it's like they want that seriousness and everything behind
yeah,
Sonic, but they don't ever fully go for it. So maybe they will in this one.
I hope so. I honestly do, because I think that having a good, strong Knuckles with a good, fun Tails, and then the movie version of Sonic would be really good.
Yeah.
Plus, it means Jim Carrey's coming back as Robotnik. So
As a more game accurate
mm-hmm.
Robotnik
They're gonna
as
make him fat.
yeah. That's a nice way of saying that, I guess.
Yeah.
Done.
I do
Well,
want to see him with like the bigger mustache though. It's like
yeah.
Robotnik's mustache comes out to like here. that's the real trick. But yeah, I
That's a
think it's.
beautiful thing.
What'd you say?
I said it's a beautiful thing.
No, it is.
His mustache coming out. That's Robotnik. I
It's
don't know.
a good year for Sonic fans.
I think so, and I think next year we'll get a little more on the gameplay and stuff for what that's going to be.
That's what I really need to see to be assured, I guess is the word. But hey, if I can spin dash up a mountain and then it starts raining and I can't spin dash up the mountain anymore,
Right.
I'll be okay with that, honestly.
I don't know.
This next one I think you're probably really excited for.
Well, this next one did catch me by surprise, but then again, I'm thinking back, and they just gave out.
Yep.
You know, they just made the remake, so
Yep.
Alan Wake 2
Yep.
seems to make sense, and I think I'm finally starting to see what I would consider like next gen graphics
Yes.
in some of these. I hope they don't try to overdo that
I agree.
on that, and I hope they stay true to the lighting and the feel of the first one.
Yeah.
Like it looks absolutely beautiful, but it should in this day and age. So I don't know. There's so much up in the air about this.
Yes.
I know I missed some Easter eggs through that through the trailer.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's so much going on to the sides and everything. But of course now that one's not next year's game. That's 2023.
Yes.
This is
and
a really early announcement for this.
it's also going to be a little bit of a different take because instead of the previous action style game, this one's going to be more survival horror. They want this to be a little bit more RE, which I'm fine with. I love Resident Evil.
Well, it fits.
Mm-hmm.
It would fit among those lines.
Yeah. I'm excited for more Alan Wake. It's time to go back and play the remastered one for sure.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. That's what, like I said, I think it's good timing. I hope they have that trailer. Like I said, the trailer looks amazing going through down the streets with him and turning,
the shot of the blizzard.
Yeah.
Or not the blizzard, I guess, but like the town with the fog rolling in, and that looks so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it should be interesting. I've been looking forward to what they do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, 2023, that's a long ways away. They got a lot of work to do a lot of work to get the game going like it should. And I think one common thread through all these, I don't think there's any gameplay footage.
Yeah, it's almost all CG, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
My least favorite type of trailer for sure.
Yeah.
But I would really like to know how some of these play, especially like the next two that we're going to talk about. But
yeah. Okay, look. I don't mean to be mean, but there's like I was looking for stuff to be spoiled, right?
Yeah.
And this one definitely didn't get spoiled, and I'm kind of wondering, well, it might not have been on anybody's radar.
Yeah.
For one, or two, if this is first announcement, which you don't, this is one of the ones where I have no idea what the gameplay is going to be, the story, or anything. I just know that it's going to be a
Wonder Woman game.
That's it. That's what we got. That's what we got.
You get a shot of her hair in the trailer.
Yeah. Well, I thought the character model looked really, really good.
Yeah, it does.
But it doesn't tell you anything.
Want to be a puzzle game?
Wonder Woman's I'm kind of interested. Oh, don't do that. That would be awful. But Wonder Woman's gonna be hard to be putting it. She's OP.
Yeah.
How do you make the lasso work? You have the same problem with her as you do making with the like a Superman game or something like that. It should be very interesting to see how they go, how they work her lasso and her ungodly strength, man. I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping it's that and the next one. Um, I'm hoping it's good.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot you could do with a Wonder Woman game. I expect this to just be a basic action hack and slash, trying
Yeah,
to follow in some of the mythology stuff with God of War, you know?
possibly.
But
That'd
that's
be.
if you asked me to do something with Wonder Woman right now, that's what I would do. You
Yeah,
know? But
yeah. I don't know. Like I said, if the gameplay's good and the story's good, I'll be excited for the game. Look,
yeah.
I think the last two Wonder Woman movies
Yeah.
showed just how good Wonder Woman can be and how
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
Done the thing, and that was two in a row, two movies using the same setup, right?
Right.
Or the same character, I should say.
I agree. Did anyone actually want it? Might be a reason it wasn't. Because that's like Wonder Woman. I'm for a Wonder Woman game 100%, but I didn't. I would have expected more like especially with like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just come out and did really well. I would have expected more like a Justice League game.
Yeah, but the kind of is, but that's later down the line, and
Right.
not really.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So this next one, I wish the trailer told me as much as the press interviews have.
Yeah. Once again, the looks amazing.
Yeah.
And as far as the world building and everything I want for a game like this, which is Star Wars Eclipse,
Yep.
it looks beautiful. It looks like the right world, but I have no idea what the gameplay is. It's got some beloved characters.
Yeah.
I recognize some classic characters in there, especially Yoda at the window.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it funny calling it Eclipse.
Yeah.
Just because my nerdiness is like, okay, so they're admitting that there's one other spot in the galaxy where you can see a perfect eclipse, or in the
Right.
in the whole known universe,
in the whole
right?
universe, right?
Yeah. So we finally found another spot where you can go because you can't. There's no other, as far as we know.
Yeah.
There's no other place but Earth to see a perfect
Yeah.
eclipse. From everything else. So they found another spot. There's a
gotta-
couple of questionable things in there towards
Yeah.
the end of it. But I'll let you say what you need to say about it.
I've got a thing that I don't like having to tell people this, but I want everybody to temper your expectations. I don't care how good it looks, because it's being made by Quantic Dream.
Yeah.
And Quantic Dream, made such great, incredible titles as Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Omicron, the Nomad Soul, and Detroit, Become Human.
Mm-hmm.
David Cage is a visionary that unfortunately has yet to make something that matches his vision.
Well, at least this is in collaboration with Lucas
Yes.
Arts, so maybe between the two they get.
Yeah, it could wind up being incredible. I mean, maybe that's all he needs is somebody to focus him. Because I do think he has some good ideas. I just think that the execution of those ideas is almost always like, you haven't played Beyond Two Souls, have you?
No.
So Beyond Two Souls, I'm gonna not spoil too much here, but just a little brief. Beyond Two Souls is like a down-to-earth story about a girl who is connected to the spirit. And the spirit feeds off her emotions and will react based on the emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the entire first section of the game is just like her growing up and what life is like with this spirit, and parties going bad and dates going bad, and it's really good. It really pulls you into this character. You want this character to be happy. Halfway through the game, you're in a secret underground Chinese naval base with a task force that is specifically designed to kill those ghosts, those spirits, and you have to go and help them fight them. And that sounds like the best thing ever, and it's not. It is absolutely terrible. And that is why I say David Cage fails on the execution front.
Yeah. Well, like I said, but hope for the best. I haven't had a lot of luck with Star Wars lately.
Yeah.
To be honest, just haven't liked the way it went.
Yeah.
Except for a couple things. So I don't know. I feel good about Lucas Arts being part of it, being part of a Star Wars project.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it depends on the execution of it. I have no idea what the storyline is going to be or any gameplay. I just know they can make the world look good. And like I said, for this day and age, with the systems and power that we have,
Yeah.
making it pretty is not a huge thing.
Yes. Yes. And that's not to say that they didn't do a good job. It's just that everybody looks pretty now, you know?
Yeah, you know
Well, and
the
I'm very concerned about the gameplay because Quantic Dream is their end of it. If they're in charge of gameplay, this game is going to be a story-based, move to a room, interact with item, have a conversation. It is not going to be a hack and slash. It is not going to be fast-paced the way that I think people expect it to be.
Yeah. Well, they build up a definitely a kind of a dark mood through the whole trailer there.
Yeah.
Not a. I think you have one scene of like lightsabers,
Right.
and action and everything. So, but no telling, no telling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I'm saying is, if you give me a secret Sith ghost base on a moon behind something and you can pull it off, then I'm there.
Right, we'll do it.
I wanted to believe in the secret underground Chinese ghost base. I wanted to believe in it so bad. I'm giving you another chance, Cage.
Yeah. That's funny. It doesn't work in the game, but it works in real life.
Right?
Ooh. Yeah.
So, next up is Elden Ring. And we know this game's coming. This game's coming out right around the corner.
Yeah.
I will be honest with you. I did not watch this entire trailer.
I've looked at a few of them. One, once again, no, looks beautiful.
Yes.
Looks amazing. I like the world that it's set up. I like the author, and not who's helped work with George R. R. Martin. And I've read beyond more than just the Fire and Ice stuff. He's got lots of books.
Yes.
But and he's a good storyteller. So I'm hoping the setup is neat.
Yeah.
You can, and it's kind of which Final Fantasy was it 7 where they broke the Earth?
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of you're coming into that where you're starting out where everything's just broken, piss poor. All the big battle is done,
right?
And there's just remnants coming up. I don't know. It looks exciting. I don't know who broke the Elden Ring. I couldn't tell from that.
Right.
But I guess that's what we'll have to figure out.
Well, I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't watch the full trailer because this game comes out like a month and a half from now.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a story trailer for a month and a half out that I know has no gameplay when I'm going to play that game.
It's basically just a small prequel. It's kind of like it sets up for the release.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no gameplay. There's nothing to show me what's going on, which I would like.
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
I feel like the Game Awards is your chance to grab people for your game, right? And when you go, we're going to have a slow cinematic trailer instead. It's like, well, why not just show the gameplay here? We've already seen gameplay. We know what the gameplay looks like. Why not show it here?
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that they don't, it's got a little aggravating.
Yeah.
A little aggravating to do that.
I do think that four-armed guy looks really cool. That's all I'll say for their sake. But, yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of George R. R. Martin, if you're a fan of the Soul series, Elden Ring's coming out soon.
Yeah. And it did. It gave a little bit more than the Star Wars one. But
right.
Being narrated, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I
know how big of an Among Us fan you are.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think I want to do this one. Really. I'm sure that there's going to have fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to have fun with this.
Oh, I'm sure. I am so done with Among Us already. I played it when it was hyped up. Tried to record some videos on it, and then found out very quickly that unless you are very careful, Among Us will destroy friendships. People get so mad. And so it was like we just never recorded a video on it because every time we'd try, people would get upset. It's like it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I think the idea behind it is fun. Yeah, now you can do it in VR and hate people even more. People can actually poke each other now. So, yeah. It's only the Skeld map is going to be playable in VR right now. It doesn't have a release date, but it will be compatible with PSVR, MetaQuest 2, and Valve Index. Again, PSVR still not compatible with PlayStation 5, so this is only for PlayStation 4.
So weird.
Such a strange decision not to make your VR headset work with your new console.
Yeah.
Mine's sitting over there gathering dust because there's no reason to use it.
Right? That's what. Yeah, it's just silly. Absolutely silliness.
Waste of money.
Right?
But yeah, I mean, if you want to play Among Us in VR, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will probably not play as well as a regular Among Us, but
Well, I don't see why that one really needed a Game Awards announcement, right? You get one level in VR.
I also think that, like, as a VR announcement, it's weird because the game is really just moving from room to room solving tasks, right? So now it's just I can do the wires in VR. That's it. I can swipe the card in VR.
Yeah, you can push the buttons in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really strange to me. But I mean, they're popular, so why wouldn't they try to catch in on more of it, you know?
Yeah.
But
I bet it's a nightmare.
oh yeah. Next up is a really weird one because again, we don't know anything.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of a setup here, right? Because obviously it's Dune, Spice Wars, and that was a reveal trailer. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's supposed to be on PC for early access 2022.
Right.
Don't really get a whole lot with this one.
Yeah. We found out more from interviews.
Yeah.
But the fact that again, the trailer just doesn't even try to tell you what type of game this is.
Yeah, right. Because there has been a Dune game not too long ago, you know, a Dune strategy game, and they've tried that title a few different times. So I don't know if they're doing this with the I don't know if it's gonna be a book adaptation or a movie adaptation.
Right. We'll see. But for anybody who doesn't know, it is going to be a 4X. It's being made by the same studio, by Shiro Games, that made Northgard. So it will be a strategy game.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like those.
Yeah, like I said, it seems so cheap to throw all this up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Stuff's going out and not give any kind of gameplay. Like, this is what you're going to be doing, right? You know?
I agree.
This is how we're going to be playing. This is how it's going to work. But no.
Well, like you said earlier, it is really just a popularity contest at this point, you know?
Yeah. Which
is a huge shame. But I feel like this one's gonna pull in some stuff too. We got a trailer for Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
Which this one does have gameplay.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, this one did have gameplay. I don't know. DC hasn't had much luck lately. In fact, they're changing some. Well, let me think. I say DC hasn't so much luck, but DC Online has actually had a resurgence this year.
Yeah, it seems to be doing pretty well.
You know that, so I don't know. Are they going to follow Guardians of the Galaxy, or are they going to follow Avengers?
Right. That's
one of those went. One of those worked.
Yeah. I think gameplay wise, it looks like a mix between like a Sunset Overdrive and a Saints Row, almost.
Yeah.
Like you got some weird, crazy powers going on, but also the majority of it seems to be run and gun gameplay.
Right.
Which I mean, it seems fun. It doesn't look bad at all, you know.
No, it doesn't, and it seems silly enough, right? Yeah. Just overblown enough that it may work.
This is one of our few games that's been confirmed to only be coming out on new consoles as well. Will not be coming out on old consoles, which is very interesting because this game's coming sometime next year. The vast majority of games that have already done that of, hey, it's only coming out on Series X, PS5, PC, are like projected 2023, 2024. Right. It's kind of crazy to have one coming out next year that's already like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see how they make the Flash work with everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, just kind of seriously.
How's that boss fight going to work?
Yeah. How you going through that. I don't know. There's not much to that.
Yeah.
The cinematic. I think honestly, I think DC's got that game for that game right there. Out of everything, well, not everything on here, but a lot of stuff on here, it's probably got a big. It needs to prove something.
Yes, I agree.
It needs to prove something.
Well, and we're in such. You mentioned it earlier, but we're in such a weird place with superhero games because the vast majority of people know that Avengers was not a great game.
Yeah.
And then some people know that Guardians of the Galaxy was a good game. But there's a lot of people that also didn't play it because of Avengers. And so now they see this coming out and they go, well, here we go. We're just in the cycle of these bad superhero games coming out. It's like, well, maybe this won't be. Guardians was good, but...
Yeah, but I don't know. There's been so many ruined superhero games, going way back.
Superman 64.
That is the classic nerd answer right there.
Yep.
And,
one of the worst games I've ever played.
And there's just so much they just never get right.
Mm-hmm.
They rely too much on Flash and not the Flash, the character, but just making it flashy and not really getting in depth with the story. So we'll have to see. It may just be a fun brawl for all. And if they keep it simple, maybe not too deep with that, maybe that'll work.
Yeah, I agree. This next one is kind of interesting because it starts off with a lot of cinematics. And I was about to check out.
Yeah.
But then it transitions into gameplay. And I think the gameplay looks pretty good. I never played the original Hellblade. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. But Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga is looking pretty good. However, they put all this work into this trailer, all these cinematics, tying in the gameplay, tying it back to cinematic, back to gameplay, and then don't give a release date.
Yeah. And I don't know. That may be a good thing, maybe not.
Right.
But I think people are kind of expecting, if you go through this far, because like I said, it does. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You get some game. The gameplay looks really fluid.
Yeah.
Coming from the CG into that, looks amazing. We'll just have to see. I'm thinking a lot of these are showing off. I think we're going to see a gap over the next year.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of games pushed out to February, right? From this year to February. So we're going to have a lot of that. And I'm thinking we're going to see a gap towards 2022.
I agree.
And we'll get a much bigger release of things coming through 2022 than we did, 2023 than we will through 2022.
I agree. And it doesn't hurt, or it doesn't help. It does hurt that a lot of studios still aren't getting as many dev boxes as they would normally because of all the shortages. There was actually, we don't have the regular news section this week, but there was actually a really interesting find that there were more Switches sold in the month of November last year than were sold this entire year. And that there were more PS4s sold this year than were sold of PS5s last year. Because people can't get PS5s. They can't get Series X's. They can't get Switches,
Yeah, and unfortunately that's, there's nothing anybody can do about it right now.
Just the way it is.
Which, like I said, Sony should have a lot of PS5s coming out over the next few months because they got the biggest. They managed to pull in the most chips.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Made their money count. So this next one, we already knew this game was coming. This is more. I think they were very smart about it with the Horizon Forbidden West trailer. They had a very short trailer that's very flashy. It's jumping between areas. It's got a lot of combat. It's showing off a lot of maneuvers and a lot of abilities. I think that's a really smart way to do it when they know, hey, this game's coming out in a couple months.
It's coming out, and people already. This is, people know what this game is.
Yes,
they've played through. They've been looking forward to it. They played through the good and bad and ugly of the first one.
Right.
And got to a point where, hey, it's not bad.
Yep.
And I think people are looking forward to it. I think there's I think they have a community of people really looking forward to this.
I agree.
And it will do well.
Another really smart thing they do in this trailer, in my opinion, is that multiple times when they're cutting, they have Aloy in different outfits. And they didn't have to say anything about it. They didn't have to put a flash up on the screen that was like, and you can have different outfits. It just tells you naturally that you can mix and match your outfits and do some cool stuff there. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good win. It'll be interesting to actually get it here in a couple of months. And
I think for me, this is the trailer of the show.
The next one?
No, the Horizon Forbidden West one. Because it's snappy. It has all gameplay, really. And it shows so much in such a short amount of time without spoiling anything, really.
Right. Exactly. It did good.
Yeah.
It did good. Like I said, I think there's not much to say about it, and other than, hey, bam, they've given you what you need. If you know the story, if you played it, you already know it's coming.
That's right.
I think they're really sticking with those folks that
Yeah.
love this game. It's like if you know type thing.
That's kind of what this next one does too, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Plague's Tale Requiem, which is the sequel to what was the subtitle for that? Something A Plague's Tale. I'll pull it up.
I don't remember. A Plague's Tale. I think it's just a Plague's Tale, was it?
Might have been. Let me double check.
Did it have a?
Thought it had a prefix. Oh, it's A Plague Tale Innocence. That was it. That was the original.
Okay.
It kind of just goes, hey, here's a little bit of voiceover, here's a little bit of stuff, and then let's go. Couple cinematics, couple sections of gameplay. Just, hey, this is more of the previous game, but even better.
Right. And I think, yeah. There's a couple of videos I wish one's back up the list. I wish we would have done that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's not sell on intrigue.
Yeah, if you had showed me anything about what that Star Wars game is, Eclipse,
Oh yeah,
I would be way more excited right now.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
So,
absolutely.
And I'll say this too: A Plague's Tale Innocence is a game I always meant to play and just never did. It was never like super high on my list, but it was always on the list. This trailer made me want to go back and play it, and that's way more than Star Wars Eclipse did for any other Star Wars game.
Fair, absolutely. This is I don't know, man. It's dark. Like I said, the graphics good. Hopefully, the story, gameplay. It's good. The gameplay is going to be a little bit different. It's because you have different. It's not necessarily go out and just kill everything.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm very excited over these next couple of years, just because of stuff like this. This is
me too.
This it looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It takes time on it, and they seem to care about the story and the gameplay.
Yeah.
Not just the graphics, not just the cinematics.
They won on Game Pass too. Keep that in mind. We're not sponsored by Game Pass. We could be.
We could be.
But day one on Game Pass. It's also coming to Switch via cloud, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because the first game is not on Switch.
Yeah. That's, I don't know. Playing off the cloud.
Then the last trailer that we got, this was the big one towards the end of the show. The Halo TV series is finally getting off the ground.
Yep.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Master Chief looks great there at the end. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I just don't know if I'll watch it. Yeah. I think I'd rather go back and watch Red vs. Blue.
Yeah, Red vs. Blue is probably going to wind up being better than this, but without a doubt.
Okay.
But what I'm excited for more than because I don't think the story. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Halo books are incredible. I think the Halo games are very good. I don't trust Paramount to tell a good Halo story. But I'm excited for like those shots in the movies where you have like, okay, so like take a Michael Bay movie and the military's in it, right? And then you have that gratuitous shot of the side of the tank. I want that.
Right.
But for Halo stuff. And I feel like it's going to give me that. I think that's all it's going to give me, but I feel like it's going to give me that.
That's basically it. I think so. I don't know. The way they set it up, though, it doesn't seem like they're doing the Halo story or the Master Chief story.
Yeah.
It seems like Master Chief's in it.
Yeah.
But I didn't take it. I didn't get it that was the story that they were following. Right?
That's what it seems like to me, too. Yeah.
Okay.
I also think that we should make sure everybody is aware it is going to stream on Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another streaming service you have to have just for this show if you don't have it already or care about the other stuff. So just keep that in mind before you get too excited. It's not coming to Netflix.
Right, which I'm surprised at. I bet they do some kind of Game Pass thing, though.
Yeah. We got some other announcements as well. They weren't the big showstoppers.
I ask you.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, because do you want to take the everything else and I do pre-show announcements, or you want to do you want to switch them? Which one do you want to go through? I'm just going to go down and hit each one.
Yeah. There's one in particular I want to get really excited for. And it's in everything else. So I'll take everything else if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. Lost Ark was announced. It's a new action MMO from Amazon Games coming to Steam on February 11th. Kind of weird that Amazon's making another MMO when New World died, but sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is finally coming to PC in the Epic Game Store December 16th. Destiny 2 The Witch Queen was showed off. It's just more Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
Slitterhead?
Yeah, kind of weird
That's a
name.
rough title. Is a new horror game coming from Konami, but not Konami themselves. It's the people that split off from Konami. But they don't have the whole team. So even though it's the Silent Hill team, please keep in mind they don't have the full team.
Same,
Nightingale, crafting survival game from Inflexion, looked okay. Gollum got a new trailer, Lord of the Rings Gollum, but still no release date.
Right. This game's been trying to get out for about 10 years.
Yep.
Actually, this game has probably been trying to get out since the movies came out, so over almost 20 years. So, whatever.
Maybe
we'll see about
day.
that one. Right? Go for it, Bubba.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is going to be free to play starting January 12th. So, hey, now it can compete with Fortnite again, I guess. Also, just a little thing, but in the Game Awards announcements for it, it did PUBG Battlegrounds. That's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, right.
There's a new trailer for Somerville that was showed. Still looks really interesting. Cuphead's The Delicious Last Course DLC is coming out June 30th. That finally got a release date. Vermintide 2's new DLC is called Warrior Priest, and it's out today. Actually, it was out Thursday.
Yeah.
Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is coming to PC and current gen consoles. Space Marine 1 is one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. It lets you just roll into a group of orcs and kill them with the weight of your roll.
Yeah.
Because you're a Space Marine.
Right.
And this one lets you fight Tyranids. So, very excited for that. That was the one I was excited for, this list.
Right.
Chia got a new trailer. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was checking that no release date. It's just going to be coming on current gen.
Unfortunately, no release date. That trailer is very good, though, and gives you that shot that I was talking about where, like, the guardsman is looking up and the Space Marine just walks past him. Like, yeah that's what I want for the Halo show. Cool. Chia got a new trailer coming in spring 2022. Forspoken is coming out May 24th. A new trailer for Saints Row came out. It's still Saints Row. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout is getting Nightmare Before Christmas skins. Tiny Tina's Wonderland got a new trailer that really didn't tell us much. It's mostly just story. Dokev got a new Wild trailer. No. Wild new trailer. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's okay. The new Genshin Impact trailer showed us characters that we already knew were coming.
Yeah, that was kind of okay. Nothing new there.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Steel Rising is a steampunk action game coming 2022. That was announced. Metal Hellsinger is kind of like, I can't remember the name of it, but it was that rhythm-based Doom-like that came out last year. It was very good. It's another one of those, basically. And it seems really cool. Rocket League Sideswipe is out now. It's mobile version of Rocket League.
Huh.
Could be okay.
Could be.
Could be.
They were a really big game at one time. They kind of maybe this will bring them back up a little bit.
Maybe so. Star Trek Resurgence is coming. It's by Telltale.
Well, it's not by Telltale.
Well, right. It's made by old Telltale.
Yeah, there is no Telltale anymore.
It's made by the people who made the old Telltale games, and it's probably going to be in that vein. So be aware of that. But it's cool that those devs are getting to come back and do stuff. You know, that's nice. So,
yeah.
Rumbleverse is. Why did it take so long for all these to come out? It's a new Smash-like from Epic Games. Sure.
Right.
Why not? Dying Light 2 got another trailer. Again, that game is coming out very soon. Please, be excited for that. But it is a story trailer, so if you're excited for it, just know. Fortnite got a new trailer for Season 3. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt got a new trailer. Crossfire X got a new trailer and a February 10th release date. I almost said 15th. GTFO is out now. Full release, 25% off for a little bit. Synced Off Planet got a new trailer. Arc Raiders was announced by Embark Studios, third-person sci-fi shooter. And The Matrix Awakens is a new interactive experience available on PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I want to check that out. I was waiting before I did.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to show off. Yeah. Well, they're supposed to I don't know, it's supposed to kind of give a look into really what we should expect with the next gen consoles, because we're nowhere near what we should have, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
All right.
Pre-show announcements are yours, sir.
All right. So, pre-show announcement. We have a Zelda-like Indy tunic that will be coming on March 16th.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. The Cronin is the next playable character announced in King of Fighters 15.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Go through that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is getting a multiplayer adaptation.
Isn't he already in Dead by Daylight?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Leatherface. I'll check it while you continue.
Is getting a multiplayer no, I think it's extra. Okay. Homeworld 3 received a gameplay trailer and release a window for the fourth quarter of 2022.
Sure.
The Expanse is getting a video game adaptation from Telltale. That should be interesting.
Love The Expanse.
Right? That should be interesting. Babylon's Fall got a new trailer for revealing its March 3rd release date.
Yeah.
With that. Chivalry 2 is getting new content, including a new map, weapon, and holiday event.
Sure.
Other than that, here you go. Monster Hunter Rise. Sunbreak is coming this summer and getting new amiibo.
Yay!
Thirsty Suitors is a narrative action adventure game from the Thirsty Suitors. That's great. For the developer behind Falcon Age.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, man.
All right.
I'm sure it's got a TikTok that goes with that somewhere. Western action game Evil West got its first gameplay trailer.
Yeah, it looks really good.
There's not enough evil Western games.
That's true.
For sure. Have a Nice Death is a 2D black and white action game starring the Grim Reaper that's coming to early access in March.
I'm playing that for sure.
Right. Indie game Planet of Lana got a trailer that focused on its original score, which is always nice. Somebody putting the work in, highlighting the music. A lot of people, that's going to get overlooked by a lot of people. Yeah. Even though it sets the mood and gets them feeling the way they do about a level, it's going to get looked. And finally, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is a new fighting game coming out on March 17th. I don't know how I feel about a Persona fighting game.
So they've had a couple of those already.
Yeah.
But they were very, not super popular, right? They're good, but they didn't have, a big scene. And Ultimax very well could change that.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I've ever I've seen one. I've obviously seen the Persona games.
Right.
But it's very kind of strange.
They let Kanji use a chair. He just pulls out a chair.
All right.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
So that's the announcement.
Right.
We still have the awards.
Yeah, there was a kind of, how do you want to do that? You want to start at the bottom and go up?
Yeah, I think that'd be the best way.
Okay.
And we will immediately be spoiled on these. Both of us have not looked at the winners yet. But as soon as we click on the category, it's going to just show us the winner. Like with confetti and everything. So,
yeah.
We'll know immediately. But our first, do you want to just, there's 30 of them, so we'll both get 15. Do you want to just flip-flop who handles the category?
All right, I'm down at the bottom right with best sports event.
Okay.
Do you want to start there, and then I'll take and then go across the bottom?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Best esports event. The nominees were the International 2021, the PGL Major Stockholm 2021, the 2021 League of Legends World Championship, the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2020, and Valorant Champions Tour Stage 2 Masters. And the winner was 2021 League of Legends World Championship, which honestly, yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's a huge game. Also, man, that movie they've got.
Yeah, Arcane.
Yeah, has done really well.
I need to watch
a lot
it.
Of people hype. It's got 100%, or it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, there were people on Twitter being like, "Hey, I've never seen League of Legends. I love that show."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, yeah."
All right. So best esports coach. We had the nominees were Arat Silent Gaziv, and if I mispronounce these, I'm very sorry.
It is what it is. I don't blame you.
Right. Andrei Ing Sholokov, Andrei Biad Horodinsky, I think that's right.
I think so.
Horodinsky, and James Crowder. That was easy.
Yeah.
And Kim Jong-gyun.
Yep.
Kim Jong-gyun, who won? Who was the winner? On that. K-Coma.
I've heard he's very good. I've never actually watched his stuff.
I don't know what honestly don't know what a coach does. It'll be kind of interesting because I know you have all different kinds of tournaments each year.
Yeah.
You know?
If you ever get the chance, look up. I'm trying to remember the name of the video, but it's a Street Fighter like pro player coaching a new player, and like the way that he breaks it down is incredible. Of like, let me explain to you what footsies is. Okay, so we got your distance here. You got to manage that distance. That's like your feet slowly moving closer to each other. It's like he just goes into it. It's great.
That's awesome.
Next up is Best Esports Team. The nominees were Atlanta FaZe, that plays Call of Duty, DWG Kia, that plays League of Legends, Natus Vincere, which plays Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Sentinels, which plays Valorant, and Team Spirit, that plays Dota 2. And the winners went to Natus Vincere, which is CSGO. I didn't expect that, actually.
Me neither. That's cool.
Yeah.
That
you
is
don't
cool.
hear about Go very often anymore, but
no, you don't. And that's
there's still pros going at it, you know?
Right. Well, the next one would be athlete then, yeah?
Yeah.
So, the best athlete, the best esports athlete for the year, we had Chris Simpler, Hio Showmaker Sue, Magomed Collapse Kalilov, Alexander Simple, Kostylev, and Tyson Tens Ngo.
Yep.
And the winner was Simple Alexander Kostylev. Look at those awards.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of them, man.
It's just like he can't even hold those.
I've never heard of any of these players, but I actually really want to go back and see him play now. Because, like, he's got all those awards. He must be good.
Dude, I know, right? He's throwing it through that.
I wish you told me what they played.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Like what their specialty is.
Yeah.
Was it that?
Next up is... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, guys, go for it, man.
Next up is Best Esports Game, which was presented by Grubhub. I think that computer... Let me fix the screen. Don't you love it when technology gives out on you? Oh, it came back. It came back. We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Best Esports Game presented by Grubhub. I wish we were paid by them to say it the way that the Game Awards was every time they said it. The games were Call of Duty, of course, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, League of Legends, and Valorant. And, of course, the winner was League of Legends.
Yeah. I figured that I haven't played it, but that game has just everything they've done right this year, it seems.
Yes.
As far as, for a free-to-play, they got a freaking movie out, like I said, it's got 100% on there. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. This is kind of an interesting category.
Yeah.
Most anticipated game, right? So you've got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West.
Yep.
The sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Why we don't have a
the title
on that, I don't know. And Starfield. And Elden Ring pulled it out this year.
Yeah.
It
makes sense to me.
It does. I think if it wasn't for that, I don't know what I'd pick. Probably Starfield.
Yeah,
honestly,
I think so.
Out of all those.
Either that or Ragnarok for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've seen enough of Forbidden West at this point that people are excited for it, but they know what they're getting.
Exactly.
Yeah, Elden Ring makes a lot of sense to me there. Next up is Best Debut Indie. And this is always a weird one to me because it's for the best debut game created by a new studio.
Yeah.
And what makes the best debut, right? That's tough to say.
It is.
But the nominees were The Artful Escape, The Forgotten City, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Sable, and Valheim. All 5 very interesting and unique games that try a bunch of different things, some of which they succeed at, some of which they fail at. But the winner went to Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
That's cool.
It is. Actually surprised me, though. I expected it to go to Valheim because Valheim exploded in popularity over the summer.
Yeah, it did.
It was big.
But, well, didn't Valheim didn't also had a DLC or a big update
It did.
Too long ago, yeah.
Hearth and Home update.
Okay.
So I've really expected to go to that, but from what I can see,
Hey.
people really like Kina. So.
That's cool. That's cool. So now we have the content creator of the year.
Oh boy.
Let's see. Well, I don't see any. We're not on there, so there's no point. Let's go back. You do the next one. No, okay.
That's true. Valheim did have a very delayed update that might have affected it, because that update was supposed to come out in like August, and it came out like last month.
So, under the content creator of the year, we have Dream, Fusely, Gauls, Ibaya, and Grefga. Grefg or Grefga. And who won that was Dream. And the fact that their profile pic is just a little, their PP is just a badly drawn thing, just makes me happy.
So
well, everybody else took so much time to get
a picture.
Done.
Yeah. So Dream is a huge Minecraft streamer. There's been a lot of controversy around Dream, specifically this year, that makes it a really interesting pick in my mind. But it's without doubt that Dream is incredibly popular. I feel like this is a weird award as well. It's like, what makes somebody the content creator of the year? Like, to me, popularity for sure. To me,
I think it could be, yeah.
Like, I see Mark Rober and Mr. Beast trying to clean the oceans and starting Team Seas. And I'm like, well, they probably should have been on that list, you know? But, you know, hey, of the 5 of these, Dream was the only one I knew, so.
All right, then. All right.
Next up is Best Multiplayer.
Yes.
And this actually had 6 nominees, which is really interesting, and one of which I'm not going to say was paid to be there, but really feels like it was. Back 4 Blood, Knockout City, It Takes Two, Monster Hunter Rise, New World, and Valheim.
There was more multiplayers put out that I'm pretty sure could have filled out that list.
Yep.
I mean, if those were the only multiplayers put out this year, it might be different, but those were not the only. That's terrible.
Not by far. But the winner went to It Takes Two, which I think is of the whole list, I think is the most unique multiplayer experience. It is very much a 2 players working together to try and pass through the story and all the different challenges. And I really want to play it still. So, got to do that at some point. But.
Right. I think I'm trying to remember the trailer for that one. I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
I just don't remember exactly it. I know I have. I've seen the trailer.
It's a very cool looking game.
All right. So, next up was the Best Sports Racing.
I'm glad you got this one.
So you had you have F1 2021 racing game, FIFA 22 soccer game, which is always going to be big every year they put out FIFA, right? Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels Unleashed, and Riders Republic.
Yeah.
Which Riders Republic kind of got I don't know. But the winner was Forza Horizon 5.
Right.
And I'm not really surprised. I will say Hot Wheels Unleashed is an amazing game. It really is for what it is. Riders Republic, I think, kind of got some fans late. It's just here recently that I've been hearing people really talking about that.
It had a very unfortunate release date. It came out the same week as Forza.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, hey, racing game fans, what are they going to do? They're going to play this game they never played before? Or are they going to play the new Forza? They're going to play Forza.
Yeah. All right.
I agree with that choice, too. Next up is Best Sim Strategy. And again, I've said it many times, I don't like that these are put together because they're very different games. I don't really like that sports and racing are put together either, but I get that there's probably not enough of those that come out every year to make up a 5, right? Each. But Best Sim Strategy is like, come on now. Because our nominees are Age of Empires 4, Evil Genius 2 World Domination, Humankind, Inscription, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I just want to throw this out there. Microsoft Flight Simulator, Humankind, Age of Empires, all put up alongside a card game, Inscription, and an Evil Genius Sim. They're all so different from each other.
They really are, and it's kind of unfair to put Microsoft Flight Sim in that kind of needs almost its own category, you know?
Also, like, not to be salty, but Age of Empires 4 won when clearly Inscription's the best game on this list.
Yeah. But then again, it's a little, you've got, forgot the studio. I was sorry to say Codemasters, and that's not it. But you got a classic game there
Yeah,
with name
absolutely.
name recognition.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Relic,
you know,
isn't it? Is it Relic?
Is it it?
It's Relic.
It might be.
But,
Oh.
yeah. It just, you know. Everybody should play Inscription. That's all I'm saying. It's a great game.
So this one's kind of funny to me. Best family.
Yeah.
So the nominees are It Takes Two, Mario Party Superstars, the new Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, and WarioWare Get It Together, with the winner being It Takes Two, which is not really a surprise because once again, you've got a game there that is in-depth story of working together and like emotional healing, all kinds of stuff against games that, but I don't understand the family reference to some of these.
I also think It Takes Two has to win because it's the only one of those you can play together on the same console.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird thing there, but that does get us up a row. So
best
we're closing
fighting game.
Yeah. Let's see.
I think this one's still mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Best fighting game. Our nominees are Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, The Hinokami Chronicles, Guilty Gear Strive, Melty Blood Type Lumina, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. And the winner went to Guilty Gear Strive, as it should. As it should.
I think so. That's a kind of unique, just like that whole atmosphere of Guilty Gear.
Yeah. Any year Guilty Gear comes out is a good year. It's a Guilty Year.
That's kind of a weird category for me too, because I like some of the 2D fighting games. I'd rather have a 3D. I like Tekken, right? Yeah. Tekken 2, Tekken 3 in that area. So that's kind of a Tekken. Tekken's a fighting game. Street Fighter's a fighting game, but they're really two different animals.
Yeah, very much so.
On that. So this one's going to be a weird one, I think.
Yeah.
Best role playing. This shouldn't be on there. Cyberpunk 2077. No. Anyway, Monster Hunter Rise. Yeah, right. Monster Hunter Rise.
Also not an RPG.
RPG, yeah. Scarlet Nexus. Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Tales of Arise. With the winner being Tales of Arise, and I think that might be because that's the strongest that really fits a classic RPG.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. They picked 4 games that you might be able to say are RPGs, but also are very different experiences, and then one that is an RPG, and that one won.
Which it should.
Yeah.
I think a couple of those should fall under adventure or something, maybe. I don't know.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 is very much an RPG, right? But it's a monster collecting game first.
Yeah.
Scarlet Nexus is very much an RPG, but it's a futuristic sci-fi thriller with psionics first. You know? Whereas Tales of Arise is fantasy hero goes to fantasy quest. You know?
Yeah.
No surprise to me. And I'm not even going to touch Monster Hunter and Cyberpunk. I love Monster Hunter. Neither of those should have been in that list.
Yeah, those I know. All right. But next we have
Best Action Adventure. Our nominees are Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. And I think although any one of these 5 could have won this, Metroid Dread walks away with the victory.
So far, that is the best collection of games under added category we've done so far.
100%.
That is a good selection of games. That was 100%. A tough category. So that was best action adventure, right?
Yep.
So this is best action game. I don't know how this goes.
What's the difference?
Okay. So we've got Back 4 Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6, that the only reason that's on there is because it's by Ubisoft, and Returnal,
yep,
which won which it may be a good game, but I hate the name.
I do too.
I hate the name
I
Returnal.
do too. I also think that if the distinction between action adventure and action is supposed to be that action adventure doesn't have an adventure tied to it, then it probably should have gone to either Chivalry 2 or Back 4 Blood. But you know, Returnal is a roguelike though, so maybe the narrative is not a huge thing in it either. I haven't played it myself to know. I wasn't going to buy a game named Returnal. Sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but don't name your game Returnal if you want me to play it. Next up is Best VR AR. And our nominees are for Virtual Reality, Augmented Reality, Hitman 3, I Expect You to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4, and Sniper Elite VR. And the winner went to Resident Evil 4 VR, which is very fair to me. Because that's not just a VR level. That is the entire game remade into VR.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's really cool.
That has to win in my mind.
Well, honestly, like I said, I think over the next 2 to 3 years, I don't know exactly which way that's going to go, but VR is going to become much more accessible to people.
I think so.
And I don't think we'll have these big, bulky, stupid things on our face quite as much.
Yeah.
Now, this is a cool category.
It is.
I like this category. I'm not sure that the nominees fit. Anyway.
Right.
So this category is innovation in accessibility.
Presented by Chevrolet.
Okay. Presented by Chevrolet. And it's a medium for adding features, technology, content to help games be played.
Yeah.
Now, Far Cry 6, Forza Horizon 5, Marvel's Guardian Galaxy, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, The Veil, Shadows of the Crown, with the winner being Forza Horizon 5.
Yes.
And I can actually speak on this because any level of player can play this game. You can switch out and switch on the fly the difficulty. So you can have a 5-year-old drive and feel like they're doing something, switch difficulty when you sit down behind the wheel and, make it tougher. So I don't know what else would bring to it because the game almost drives itself pretty much on the easy for Horizon High. So I don't know if that's what it is because they don't give a whole lot. I don't know what Far Cry 6 would have brought to accessibility.
Money.
Yeah, like
Ubisoft money.
Yeah.
No, I think the only one that I would have maybe pushed for, I still think Forza should have won. I think the only one that I maybe would have pushed for is Ratchet and Clank because they did pioneer some brand new technology for loading to be able to load on the back end without affecting the front end for Rift Apart that will absolutely be used for mini games to come.
Yeah, yeah. It's the old MMO no zoning trick, right? To get that to fill up on the back end, and now they're really getting, Ratchet and Clank got a full grasp of what that does and how to do it on a console and make it work really well. So
it does.
That. So that was innovation accessibility. Next one, you is up, sir.
Best community support. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support. Our nominees are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, get that out of here.
Right.
Final Fantasy 14 Online, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. And although No Man's Sky also could have had a chance to win this, I think, the winner went to Final Fantasy 14 Online, and I don't think anybody's surprised.
I don't think so. It's upsetting with the problem they're having right now, but they've always tried to be honest.
Yes.
And forthcoming. So yeah, best community support. That does not surprise me.
It's actually really funny to me too, because I know what they mean by best community support is that the devs support the community. But with 14, it also works the other way around, where the community is supporting the devs right now of like, hey, we know it's not your fault. We're just going to put up with it.
Right.
We're not happy, but there's no point in being mad at you. It's not your fault.
Right. Now, the next one, the best mobile game. And, not going to lie, this kind of didn't really surprise me because, let's see, we got Fantasian, Genshin Impact, League of Legends Wild Rift, Marvel Future Revolution, and Pokemon Unite. And Genshin Impact took this, and I think, honestly, that's because it runs the best on a...
It does. It does.
Phone.
You can play it on your phone and have a great time.
Yeah.
Unless you use a bow character.
Remember that. But yeah, it's got a lot of support this year and got
Yeah.
really pushed on the mobile thing. So I'm not surprised by that one at
Next up
all.
is Best Indie.
I've been looking forward to that. I'm interested in this one. Go for it, sir.
So this is not Best Debut. This can be from a pre-established studio. This is the best indie game, the best low-budget game that came out this year.
Yeah.
Outstanding and technical achievement. Our nominees are 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Inscription, Kena Bridge of Spirits, and Loop Hero. And the winner went to Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is an interesting pick, I think. It's still very good, don't get me wrong, but you have like 12 Minutes that has the entire game is built around this single perspective, which is so unique. Loop Hero, which integrates its core theme into its story in such a cool way. Inscription, which is so beyond what you'd ever expect to be playing a card game with. And then Death's Door, which is, in a lot of ways, it's just a Souls-like, over the top, you know. But then when you get into the nitty-gritty of the way the bosses are designed, it's so incredibly unique. Kena Bridge of Spirits is the only one I haven't played, so I'm very excited to play it since it won. But Ballad, no.
I like this category. Best ongoing.
Yes.
Right? I really do. I think if my game was a little bit bigger, it would be on here.
Right.
But the nominees are Apex Legends, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, Call of Duty, Warzone, and the winner goes to Final Fantasy 14 Online. And up to this last week, I think that would definitely be the winner. And look, I don't like Fortnite, but they do treat their community pretty well.
They do. They take care of them really well.
And
there's always new content. It's the same thing with Genshin, right? Whether you like the gacha or not, there's always more stuff. To the point where, because I've been playing 14, I've been missing out on stuff in Genshin.
But it's all it's good. I know they'll bounce back from that. I think it's well deserved.
Yeah.
I'm hoping some other studios start looking at that and go, you know what, we can build a loyal following. You know.
Yeah. Ballad sure seemed like it was low budget. Yes. Next up is Games for Impact, and this is a category that I'm not ever sure exactly what they're going for. Some years it seems like the impact is supposed to be in a political message. Some years it seems like the impact is supposed to be in mixing up the formula. Some years it seems like the impact is supposed to be in trying something so off the wall that nobody would have expected it and completely changing the face of gaming.
So it's just somebody that like, this is what, like, these are things that people have been talking about.
Yeah.
I get, that's been ringing the social media bells. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Our nominees are Before Your Eyes, Boyfriend Dungeon, which is one of the worst games I have ever played in my life, and I was so looking forward to it, and absolutely would win most disappointing this year for me, if not for Balan Wonderworld. Chicory: A Colorful Tale, Life is Strange: True Colors, and No Longer Home. And the winner is Life is Strange: True Colors.
True Colors. Yeah. They I see what you mean, but I'm not 100% sure what they're going for with it.
Yes.
But that game has been talked about a lot.
A lot. And one of the big themes of that game is understanding that, hey, sometimes the emotions that people show on their front is not the emotion they're actually feeling. It's a mask to cover things. Exactly. And that's the discussion around that game, for better or worse. But I have seen some very Tumblr-like takes about that game. But then I've also seen some people that actually were, able to get through some trauma because of it.
True. Now look, this is next category is best performance, right? And I really wish they would just go ahead and say voice actors.
Yes, I agree.
But they don't. So our nominees are Erica Mori as Alex Chen from Life is Strange: True Colors. Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo from Far Cry 6, which that guy's a phenomenal actor.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Kelly as Colt Vaughn from Deathloop. Maggie Robinson as Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village. And Ozioma Akaga as Juliana Blake from Deathloop. Yeah. And not surprisingly, Maggie Robinson as Lady I can't say it now, Dimitrescu won from Resident Evil Village. And look, she has got she's been doing a lot of videos and stuff, answering the questions on
Yep.
the internet people have about it and stuff. So,
All I'm saying is, January until about like middle of the year, Lady Dimitrescu was the meme on the internet, and a big part of that was because of her performance.
Oh yeah,
her performance is incredible.
yeah, yeah.
Next up is best audio design.
Getting to the big ones now, sir.
Yeah. So our nominees are Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. And just like before, I think all of these are good entries in this list. They all have very good sound design. But the winner is Forza Horizon 5. And I can't be upset with that, honestly, because it's very good.
Yeah, it just kind of surprised me because it's a driving game.
Yes.
And it has a radio. So I mean it's got some great sounds in it, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
That is, I love the game, but that's not the one I would have picked for that.
Right. I think it's really interesting too because my pick would have been Ratchet and Clank. The audio design in Ratchet and Clank, each of those weird guns sounds different, but sounds right, and the reloads on them sound really good. You know, I think where Forza stands out for me is in the squeaking of the chassis, the impact of the hits. You know, I think that it's solid. I just don't think that. For me, again, I would have picked Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, like I said, I love that. I think Ratchet and Clank is a better choice at the end of the day. But then, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Now it's not the same. This is best score and music.
I have so much to say about this category, but please go ahead.
Okay, so our nominees were on this was The Artful Escape, Cyberpunk 2077 again. That I know, Deathloop, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Near Replicant, the version 0.1.224.744.87139, and that is the one that won.
I love the soundtrack. Let me clarify this. I love Nier, right? I love the soundtrack. I don't think this should have been able to win because the vast majority of the soundtrack is just the old Nier Gestalt soundtrack. It's just that soundtrack. There are new tracks and there are new remixed versions of old tracks, but it's just that soundtrack. It's why. First off, why is it there? Second off, where's the rest of the soundtracks from this year?
Right. It's kind of confusing. I mean, out of this list, I think I go with Deathloop or Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy. But you're right. There's so much stuff that could have been on this list. It's not.
Because don't get me wrong, that soundtrack for Nier is incredible. But again, for anybody who doesn't know, Nier Replicant is a remake of Nier Gestalt, and it uses Nier Gestalt's soundtrack almost completely. So while I love it and I listen to it weekly, it's not going to win our awards. It's the same soundtrack for the most part, you know?
Well, it's like Cyberpunk 2077. I don't see the point of that one being on there, but whatever.
Next up is Best Art Direction. And so this one gets a little muddied in with like best graphics for a lot of people, but Best Art Direction is technical artistic design and animation. And so our nominees are The Artful Escape, Deathloop, Kino Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And the winner is Deathloop, which I understand why. Okay. It's very stylish.
I thought the Great Escape would have a good chance on that one, but it makes sense. It really does. And I like how you point out that, look, this is not necessarily best graphics.
Right.
You know?
And I think what really makes Deathloop shine are the sound effects. Like, when you hit somebody, you get the BAM, that pops up. And it just really sells that, hey, they put a lot of work into making sure that worked.
Absolutely. So the next category, Best Narrative, which we've got Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2.
Yep.
And man, that's a great lineup. I look back over that. Winners being Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm not surprised because with all the great stuff that was being reported about that game, people kept on and on and on about that story.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised there.
Where's Resident Evil?
I'm not sure.
Salty. I'm not salty.
All right.
Next is Best Game Direction. And so this is the actual design and direction of the game.
Up.
Yes, up is the correct choice. It always feels better to go up in video games than it does to go down.
Yeah, right. So
your nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, which should be disqualified immediately because the director didn't axe that name, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And the winner is Deathloop, which again makes perfect sense for me.
Yeah.
This game's very stylized. There was a lot of work put into making sure that it rolls exactly the way they want, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me on that one. These past few really haven't. They've had some great nominees in each category with that.
Finally, sir.
Game of the year. All right. So what were all the? There's so many nominees. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So going through this, they had Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. And look, man,
it's a good lineup.
That is a really good lineup. And the winner is It Takes Two, the co-op game. And that just got right, exactly. That was, I would have definitely picked either probably Dread, maybe Village.
Yeah.
I would out of that list. I wouldn't have picked It Takes Two to win, but it did. And that kind of gives me. Me too, because the whole premise of the game. That's really interesting that they got that set up.
I agree. I think just like you, I would have probably gone Village, or Dread, maybe Deathloop. But I think the fact that they were willing to choose It Takes Two, it's great.
Yeah. It's not the money studio that got it. Right?
Yeah. It's Joseph Fares who comes out there and says F the Oscars. It's that guy. So, yeah, I think that when it comes down to it, the show was worse this time, but the awards were better. Except for Cyberpunk being in there.
Yeah. I don't quite. Yeah, I think that was one that's not. Why is that on this year's list?
Well, because the way they do the timing of it, they cut off at December. And Cyberpunk came out in December of last year, which means it still counts for them.
No.
There's a dumb way to do it. Just have the show in January.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to get it in for Indy. I get it. I guess I get it. It still seems a little bit that there's too many problems with it that rolled out for me to
it
feel
shouldn't
comfortable.
be on any of those lists.
Yeah, it shouldn't be on any of the lists. So I'll do that.
I think that it was a pretty good show this year. I think I wish it wasn't such a commercial.
Right, and I'm excited about the announcements we got, the games. That got announced, and I'm really hoping. I'm pulling for the Sonic game to be great.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I guess overall, looking at it and going back, it really wasn't a bad end of year list, though.
Right. I agree.
Because nothing won that was like that shouldn't have been there.
Right.
Which has happened.
Yeah.
On through that. So I guess overall, there's a couple of things I would probably change up on that list or would have picked differently, but I think it was a good end of the year list.
Yeah.
Like I said, the announcements overall weren't great, but they were enough, I guess.
I agree. I have a couple of games that, in my opinion, got skipped.
Fair.
And I would like to just give call outs to because it definitely feels like there were some big hitters. We have I'm getting the whole list up right now. Making sure I got this right. Making sure I don't have release dates wrong before I say the name of a game.
Yeah, don't do that.
I've done that before. We have stuff like no, I don't want to. No, stop it, IGN. We stuff like Bravely Default 2 didn't get brought up at all. Cyber Shadow was a real big thing at the start of the year. Skull Hero Slayer was a big thing at the start of the year for a lot of people. Just kind of got completely dropped. I guess I Expect You to Die 2 got brought up once, but that's a really, really cool VR experience. That is kind of like your own individual escape room while there's a ticking time bomb. You are the secret agent that has been captured, and you have to get out. And it's very cool. Lost in Random was a weird game that came out this year that just got completely skipped over. The Medium is a really weird game that came out this year that just got completely skipped over,
Yeah, that's there's so many indie games and stuff that gets put out that just doesn't get the, and it for us either.
For sure.
We try to look into this stuff at least, each week, and we still get miss out on things.
That's right. Just a couple little things I want to throw out there, you know. But for the most part, also, now that we're past it, I can say it in the RPG section. Why is it Monster Hunter Rise and not Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is the Monster Hunter RPG?
Right? I don't know. They don't know what they're doing. And
they didn't know where to put Rise, even though they could have put it in Best Action Game or Best Action Adventure Game.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But
don't understand.
That's the Game Awards for this year. I'm sure next year they will come back and we'll have some more fun talking about them.
Well, I think, like I said, I know we have a bunch of games coming out of the next year. Mm-hmm. February is going to be a big month.
Yes,
because everything got pushed back to February.
Yeah,
delayed. You'll have your normal summer releases. A few games through there, and then they'll have some push towards the end of the year. But until 2023 and 2024, I think that's when we're going to see. I think those 2 years are going to be huge with games because they're going to catch up with the hardware, right?
Yes,
they're going to catch up with the PS5. They're going to catch up with the new Xbox. You know, and what's coming out for as far as RAM and chips in the next couple of years. Yeah. So I think next year it'll be good. This was a pretty good year for games.
I think so too.
You know, the games a year, like there was more than once that we looked at a list of games that were nominated and went, you know what? I should dang fine list of games no matter what it is.
Right.
You know?
That's right. And we're not used to that with the Game Awards. I did want to call out a couple quick things before we get into plugs. Don't forget, Thursdays, we're doing Strixhaven. Working through that new book. If you want to come check out that, the VODs go up on YouTube just like these do. So please check those out. You might have noticed that we're halfway through the month and there's been no Road to Goaties. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Fighting that queue has entirely drained my desire to try to do anything other than just get those videos out for FF14. So I'm trying. Probably not going to be Road to Goatee. Probably not going to finish a bunch of the games I plan to. Because turns out Endwalker MSQ is pretty long. And I'm doing that first. But right. I promise that we will go back and do some catch up for some of those older games at some point that we didn't get to finish. Because I do want to see. But I finished more games than I thought this year when I was going back over it. So it'll all balance out. We'll have plenty of stuff to talk about at Game of the Year. But
long but worth it. Oh, I'm sure.
The MSQ, yeah. Just keep that in mind. And then if you're asking, hey, where's the Sage video? My Sage is at level 81, and that's the highest level class I have right now because MSQ. So just keep that in mind. But as soon as it's physically possible to do so, those videos will be rolling out. I have, while waiting on, while not having time to do another quest, I have done hunts on Reaper, and I've got it to level 76. So it's almost to 80 where I can just start grinding it down to once I beat the story. But I will begin that process, and then videos will go up for all of those classes. And then Elden Ring will be right around the corner. Videos will go up for that.
Yeah, it will. We got, let's see, 2 weeks left in the year. 4 more shows? 5 more shows. 5 more shows.
Yeah, 5 more shows.
Counting both podcasts.
Right.
I'll do that. And then I got announcements after the first of the year.
Yeah, there'll be some more stuff coming. Some shifting around of some stuff. Okay. And then just so everybody remembers too, January is the time where videos thin out for a little bit because working on Goatee's not a short process, and January is when we do them, so we don't miss December the way that the Game Awards do. So just as a heads up, I've got a bunch of stuff pre-dubbed and pre-up on the channel. The Balan review just came out yesterday, if that shows how far stuff is back. Or did that 2 months ago? But there's still stuff coming, but things will thin out a little bit around that time as we try to get all that out. But please look forward to all that.
Absolutely.
Do you have any plugs, sir?
No, just the people that hang out with us and love us. I appreciate them.
Yeah.
They well, thank you, because I will say it again. Every single one of y'all are absolutely unique. Took thousands of years and millions of people to make you. So thank you for spending some time with us.
That's right.
It means a lot to me. But that's all I got.
We very much appreciate it. I know we're calling it a little bit early this time, but it feels weird to go into a topic after all that when this is the Game Awards show. So think we'll call it a little bit early, and we'll be back Thursday with Strixhaven next week with, if we don't have any more news, because I feel like there probably won't be a lot of news. We might do a rundown of the year, or we might just do a topic and have fun. We'll see. But from now until the end of the year, there won't really be any more big reviews or big news stories, I would think. Who knows? Could be wrong.
Yeah, that's true. There's no telling what might happen with the companies that are out there.
Blizzard might finally. I'm not going to finish that sentence. Until next time, though, I have been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
We've been the Full Spectrum Podcast. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum, life, and Rungren's coffee has to offer.